Hey everybody, it's Clint Arthur, and this is going to be a very unusual interview because we're here at the artist studio slash factory of one of my old friends, Charles Sherman. And Charles is an artist. Man, I met him when he was selling art, and now he sells a lot of art. But the difference is that he sells his own art. And we're here in his studio. I'm just going to give you a little view. You know, he calls it a studio. I walked in and I'm like, wow. This place is a freaking factory of art, man, and it's true. I mean, there's so much work here because he sells so much work, and I just want you to get an idea of, like, you know, what's going on. Look at all these rings. These rings, he sells like 2 of these every month, and they go for how much, Charles?
About $4,000.
$4,000, and this has been going on for months, for years. For years he's been doing this, okay? Look at all these freaking rings, okay? Look at them all. It's a factory of rings. And that's the theme here. See? Here's some more rings. There's all kinds of rings. So, Charles, how did you get into these rings, man? Where did this all come from? Why are there so many rings in your studio? First of all, look at that giant one over there, okay? How come there's so many rings here?
Well, they're actually infinity rings, and in '02 I put a Mobius ring on top of an abstract sculpture, and I thought, well, eventually I'm going to develop that thing, and then 6 months later, that's all I was doing.
All right, and you know, give us an idea of, like, how many sculptures are you selling a month, and how are you doing that?
Well, my sculptures range from about 5/8 of an inch, which it's jewelry, it's sculpture in miniature, to 12 feet. So it's hard to say exactly how many I sell, but it's at least 100 altogether.
Every month?
Yeah.
And how long's that been going on?
For about, it's been growing, but it started in around '08 when it started to grow.
Yeah. I remember that when I figured out the income doubler, how to double my income by doing mantra repetition, I turned you on to that.
That's right, Clint.
And you made, you know...
And it worked on me.
It worked pretty good.
Yeah.
And you just have been going strong and building ever since then.
Right.
So tell me, what is it that allowed you to become a full-time artist selling your own work? Like, what was the mindset shift that had to occur for you?
Well, I was, before I was doing this full time, I was a pawnbroker in Beverly Hills, giving loans on art, and I was making these sculptures, and I sold a sculpture for about $5,000, and I thought, wow, I just sold a sculpture for $5,000. I think I can make a living doing this. So I dropped everything, turned my life inside out. I quit being a pawnbroker and started to live my dream. I started to do exactly what I wanted to do, because what's most important for me is to be happy. And I knew if I would do the work that I wanted to do full time, it would make me really happy. So that's what happened.
Okay, now what about, like, the whole idea of, you know, you go to shows to sell this?
I exhibit in about 30 shows a year.
30 shows a year.
Yeah.
That's not a very casual enterprise. I mean,
no, it's a lot of work, but it's, you know, anything that you do that you know, if you want to get good at it and you want to succeed at it, it's going to be an act of love.
well, I mean, doing 30 shows a year is more than an act of love. That's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of hard work.
It's hard work.
How do you make that happen?
Well, it's number one, I guess you could say I will it to happen, and I have great people around me. I have a studio assistant, and now I have a personal assistant, and she does all my social networking and helps with the website and does publicity for me.
All right, cool. What would be the biggest, best piece of advice you would give to anyone else who's an artist who is, like, wanting to be more like you when they grow up? You know, working full-time, selling their own artwork, earning a good living, not living hand to mouth, doing the work they love, what's the best piece of advice you could give them?
Well, the best piece of advice that I give people all the time is that you want to make the best art that you can make, and you make it not because you think you can sell it. You don't make art for the marketplace. You make it because you want to make the best art that you can. If the art is really good, then it'll sell. So don't compromise. Just make the best art you can make, and develop yourself. So that's my advice.
All right, cool. So aside from at these live events that you go to, how else do people buy your artwork from you?
Well, I have a website, and my website is charlesshermanart.artspan.com, and I also have trinitycrossjewelry.com. Trinity Cross is it's just one piece of jewelry and sculpture, and it's an award-winning jewelry design. So that's trinitycrossjewelry.com. So you could go there. That has a shopping cart on it.
Okay, Trinity Cross, TRINITYCROSS
Jewelry,
jewelry.com.
right?
Or Charles Sherman Art.
Artspan, ARTSPAN as in Nancy.com.
All right, awesome. So, yeah, I mean, you know, look, guys, you want to be an artist, you got no excuse. Really, you got no excuse. Do the work, but most importantly, you got to sell the work. You got to go out there and learn how to sell your work. This is a man, how long have you've been selling your work now since '02, right? How many years did it take you before you really got good at selling your own work?
Well, I was born in 47, so it took from 47 to 02.
No, but how many years of selling the work, like full-time, before you really started kicking it in?
Well, I realized that all I need to do is go to the art shows, and I could just start earning a living doing that. So it was pretty much instant. Once I realized that I could get into these art shows with the quality of my work, I started doing it right away. So it was pretty much instant. Once I made the decision, it was just a decision.
Deciding that you're going to commit to doing it. Man, setting it up so that you can make it happen. Here's a whole little collection of all his little sculptures. I see people who want to be artists all the time, but I don't see people who are doing 30 art shows a year with their stuff driving all over the country in the back of their pickup truck like Charles Sherman. Hey, check out his stuff at trinitycrossjewelry.com. I hope this was inspirational for you. I know every time I come to this factory of art, it's very inspirational for me. I'm Clint Arthur. I'm dedicated to helping entrepreneurs enjoy the freedom, power, and adventure of the entrepreneurial lifestyle. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.